If you love it when you hear really amazing people talk about their story or their journey to success in simple yet compelling and very engaging way, then I think this book is for you. Talk Like Ted. You know, I really enjoy listening to talks, whether on podcasts or YouTube or even in-person presentations. And over the years, I've attended conferences, seminars, and workshops. But my top 10 favorite talks of all time are all from Tedx. I've never been to any physical Tedx programs, but I've watched over 100 talks since I've heard about Tedx. And I'm always left inspired because I find value in every presentation. And I admire the fact that anyone can capture an audience and make a huge impression like that. The ease at which each presentation is delivered, the content, which is insanely powerful, and then the composure in delivery, it is mind-blowing. There's just one thing that I want to know though. Can I give talks just like in TED? I've seen a couple of really horrible presentations, and I'm not gonna lie, a lot of motivational presentations have lost their spark, their ability to motivate people. But TED Talks are different. They've actually managed to maintain whatever it is that makes them unique. And I want to know what that is. If you're new to the channel and you happen to be someone who is interested in putting out captivating content that your audience would relate to, then you could really benefit from this video. The book opened me up to things that makes these presentations worthwhile. And I'm thinking, how do I incorporate them into my video? So I'm going to share a few tips from the book that I find really interesting. And the book separated this into 3 different parts. Things that makes a presentation worthwhile and call people to action. First is that a powerful presentation contains some element of emotion, because the presentation that touches your heart will touch the heart of your audience. The second tip is that it is novel. It must teach you something new. Thirdly, it must be presented in ways that people will never forget. Like in a TED Talk where Bill Gates released a swarm of mosquitoes into the audience in the conference room. Now, this is not a call to go maim your audience. His audience may have found it funny, but it may not go so well for you if you try something like that. So I'm going to be sharing 4 tips that I believe is going to help me or anyone else looking to deliver content just like in TED. So the number 1 tip is to find a personal connection that you have with the topic you're to present. A personal connection is a first-hand experience that you have lived through that makes you the right person to talk about the topic. There is always a kind of connection between you and your topic. All you have to do is find it and tell it to your audience. I've often seen this applied across several fields in life, whether you're a teacher, a salesperson, or an entrepreneur. The enthusiasm with which you get your work done makes it look almost too easy to the next person. I also think it's how actors are able to get you to sympathize with their characters. If you've seen the series Prison Break, my favorite series of all time. If you see the character Theodore Bagwell carries his role so well that I actually went from hating him to eventually understanding and at some point sympathizing with him. It goes to show that if you find meaningful connection to your topic, your audience will see it too. The quote has it that you cannot inspire others unless you yourself are inspired. Now, the second tip from the book is to master the art of storytelling. This works so well with presentations. I find that presentations with stories backing them sticks, or even in an interview like in the series Blacklist, when Agent Keane was brought in and was asked to profile herself. I love that so much, the way she started, "My colleagues call me sir."
My colleagues call me sir. They think I'm a bitch. Like most kids who raise themselves, I can display narcissistic behavior. I can be withdrawn, disconnected.
The stories are really great ways to show people who we are. Like Brown would say, stories are data, but with soul. There's a quote from the book that I find to be absolutely profound. "The truthful inside story of almost any man's life, if told modestly and without offending egotism, is most entertaining." So the next time you're planning a speech, you may want to ask, what stories can I include? And tip number 3, and this is one that I absolutely love, It's called Have a Conversation. In the first video I shot for YouTube, I looked like I was reading a script from maybe a teleprompter or something, with my face completely expressionless, as if I was being held at gunpoint. It made me cringe watching it now. So you don't want that. You want to appear very natural. And to appear natural takes a lot of practice. Like Malcolm Gladwell would say, it takes 10,000 hours to master a craft. In other words, we have heard it said in different ways that practice makes improvement. So also in public speaking, it's no different. While practicing, you're paying attention to the speed at which you're speaking, the high and low inflections and short pauses to punch keywords, all things that I didn't think were necessary. And the final tip here is to teach me something new. The first step to giving a TED-worthy presentation is to ask yourself, what is one thing that I want my audience to know? According to neuroscientist Gregory Burns, he says that the brain is a lazy piece of meat that wants to take the path of least resistance. What this means is that our brain tends to take the easiest way out. So to get your ideas across, you need to present them in a way that is engaging and easy to understand. The best ideas will fail to inspire an audience if they are not packaged effectively. So you need to ask yourself, what is my one big idea? And if you can't express your one big idea in 140 characters or less, then you need to keep working on your message. The clarity helps your audience to recall the one big thing you're trying to teach. And that is all for this episode. As always, let me hear your thoughts, please. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video.